Do you ever feel like you come off conceited and condescending? What is up with Crochet Grove? Are you guys not friends anymore? What is up, guys? It is Bailey here from Crochet with Bay. Welcome or welcome back. Thank you for joining me for another video. Today we're going to be doing an Ask Me Anything video. I posted a forum on my Instagram that people could anonymously ask me questions, and today we're going to be going through all of those questions, every single one, and I'm going to answer them for you guys. The questions range from rude comments to potentially helpful business advice, so I'll let you decide which is which. If you guys wanted to do your own Ask Me Anythings, the app I used for anonymity is Not Gonna Lie, NGL, and it's on the Apple App Store. I have no idea how many we have. Let me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1 million, zillion, jillion, dillion, cotillion times later.
91 questions. We have 91 questions to answer. So I guess I better get started. Make sure you don't forget to hit that like button and the subscribe button and the notification button so that you never miss another video. The first question: I wish you replied to me faster. And to this I say, I try my very best to reply to everybody, but you have to understand I have like a lot of platforms. I have Facebook, I have YouTube, I have TikTok, I have Instagram, where else do I have? Patreon. Like that's a solid 5 that I have to and emails, my emails inbox. So that's like a lot of messages that come in all the time. I don't often check my TikTok inbox because it is a lot of old guys asking if I want to be their sugar baby. If you are trying to get a hold of me and I have not returned any messages, it might have ended up in my hidden folder on Instagram. You can definitely shoot me an email, and it is linked in my bio. I'll just link my email in the description below, and that is a surefire way to get a hold of me. But as for like friendly chatting, I for one, I'm just not a texter in general, like at all. Like my friends barely hear from me. If I want to talk to them, I'll give them a call. I'm not one that is like loves to be chatting on my phone all day. A lot of people get upset that like their favorite creators or like bigger creators don't respond to their messages as quickly as they'd like. But you also have to remember, like, the reason why you look up to your favorite creators or like want to speak with us is because of all this content that we're constantly working to put out. So it's like I could sit and spend 2 hours replying to my messages, or I could spend that 2 hours making content that you like or writing a pattern that you would like. So it's all very like, I don't know. I haven't seen you in forever. Miss you. I wish I knew who that was, but thank you. I miss you too. Are you willing to share percentages of your income? As in 30% of your sales are patterns, 25 from finished products, YouTube affiliate links, etc. I knew this question was here. I don't know why I didn't get these numbers together, but I will definitely do that. I will put it on the screen here. Majority come from pattern sales. I would say if I had to think about it in my head and rank it, it'd probably go pattern sales or like digital files. So like my spreadsheet pattern sales, then it would go Patreon, YouTube, affiliate links. And then when I do markets, the markets will be somewhere like near the top because it's like a couple thousand on a good day for a market. Tips for starting a YouTube channel. Honestly, I am not a YouTube person. I've never been a YouTube person. I will watch shows on streaming platforms before I'll like pull up a video on YouTube to watch. The only way that I really like watching YouTube is if there's a tutorial I want to watch, or if there is another fellow crocheter that released a video and I want to support them and or look at what they're doing. So my tip would be find out what you like to watch on YouTube and then try and, I wouldn't say remake that, but if you like to watch that, odds are other people like to watch that. So cater your content around that idea. For example, day in the life, tutorials, organizing video, like whatever you want to watch, create your content around that to start, because that you'd have a good idea of what that looks like. Also, I feel like I'm still like in the itty bitty baby stage of making a YouTube channel. So like I barely have 10 videos out right now. So I wouldn't be the best person to ask that. I really look up to Crochet by Jenna, Passionate Goods, Cameron's Cute Creations, Saucy Puffin Crafts has a good YouTube channel. Those are a few of the YouTube creators that I watch. How to deal with burnout. I'm going into the Christmas market season absolutely hating making my best selling patterns. Worst time of year for this. I get that 1000%. That is one of the biggest reasons why I'm kind of straying away from markets this year. My goal was to not do markets, well not do markets, but my goal was to do less markets in 2024. and I didn't really do that. I did probably the same amount I did in 2023 because I just can't stand making small things over and over and over and over again. It is just, it hurts my head. It makes me sad. I don't want to do it. Why would I torture myself doing that when I could do something else that could also make me money? You know, I understand that markets is some of yours guys's main source of income and you have to tackle burnout. For me, market burnout is something completely different than like creating burnout. So I'm actually coming out of like a bit of a burnout stage myself. As you guys know, my deer pattern didn't do as good as I wanted it to, my reindeer pattern, and I was really down on myself. I was really beating myself up. That's probably my biggest flaw, is that I critique myself way too harshly. I put too much pressure on myself. So what I have learned works the best for me when it comes to burnout is to just let it happen. You just have to let yourself have that time to rest. Like, it almost treat it as like you're sick, you know, like treat it as if it's like the flu. Like, sit on the couch, eat whatever you want, watch whatever you want for like 2-3 days, clean up your space, do something else for like a couple days. If that is if you still have to make market stuff, try and make like a bigger project, like something that you've really wanting to make, and then go back to little things. For market burnout specifically, that's my advice, is to break up your small things. I know like assembly lining is probably like the fastest way to get things done, like, you know, making all of the ears for something and then making all the bodies, and like if you have a lot of things you want to make. But honestly, the biggest way to get exhausted and burn out is to put everything that you don't want to do in the same day in like a clump, because then you're going to put it off and you're going to put it off and you're going to put it off and you're never going to do it because you hate it. But if you say, okay, I have 2 months until this market, and you want to make 30 little bees, but you hate making them, make a bee a day. That is attainable and will not drive you crazy. Whereas if you were to sit down and make 60 wings and 30 bee bodies, that is annoying as hell. Also, then you would have to sew them all on. Like, it's just break it up, allow yourself to have the time to be burnt out, and just rest. Do not be too hard on yourself. As hard as that sounds, just give yourself grace to take a beat, because guess what? Whatever you have to do is going to be there after. You should get a tattoo. I have 3 tattoos actually. I have the one that I regret the most, which is this. You see it in all of my videos or all my photos on Instagram. It's like a little crown. I got it when I was 18. I was like, I can get a tattoo. My dad's like, you're gonna regret it. And I'm like, I regret it. I don't even know what it stands for. I have one on my back. I'll show a picture. You are my sunshine. That's for my mom. She has my only sunshine written on her arm. I have an elephant behind one of my ears that I got in North Carolina when I was visiting my best friend. Both of these, actually all of my tattoos were pretty spur of the moment. What is up with Crochet Grove? Are you guys not friends anymore? Because she's releasing the same patterns as you after yours have been announced. Kinda sus. I really wanted to address this video, so I asked Annabelle if it would be okay if I addressed this. Annabelle is Crochet Grove, and she said that would be totally fine. I said I'd be respectful. Me and Annabelle are friends. We've always been friends. We have a very similar line of work. We design patterns and we release them. We both have a Patreon. We both have TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Like, our business models are similar. I don't think this person meant any harm. Actually, no, that's a lie. I do. Because people love to pin other people against each other. They love the drama. So even if there isn't an issue, people love to pit others against each other. There is no issue between us. I released an owl pattern. She released an owl pattern. I released a reindeer pattern. She released a reindeer pattern. We were both designing those at the same time. When you see people back to back, like, post similar patterns, like within a few days or even a week of each other, there is 99% of the time zero animosity there, because it takes like a couple weeks to make a pattern. So even if anybody saw my pattern and then 2 days later said, oh, I'm releasing an owl pattern, it's not going to happen, because there is no way that you can copy a pattern that you saw like 2 days ago. So like saying that she was releasing the same patterns as me after mine had been announced, like it was within days of each other. Also, we both have Patreon and we both release sneak peeks of our patterns to our Patreon members. So like I could see that she was releasing an owl pattern around the same time I was. And same thing with the deer. The owl was kind of an unfortunate thing because like we have a lot of the same followers, I feel, and yes, having two of the having two of the same animal in a pattern be available at the same time might have not been beneficial to us, but I mean, it happened. We both happened to write a owl pattern at the same time. But after I saw that we were both releasing a deer pattern, I actually reached out to her and I was like, hey, I promise you there is no hard feelings here. Like, I'm sorry that this keeps happening to us. Great minds think alike. There is zero animosity. And she agreed. I've been wanting to say this in a few videos and I just haven't really known how to say it. I've always ended up editing it out. The crochet community used to be like a pretty dark place if you were on the wrong side of things. There used to be a time in this community where everybody was pitted against each other. There was so much competition, and even though everybody preached community over competition, that was never the case. People that were preaching that were the ones that were causing the drama, were the ones that were being bullies. Full-grown adults being bullies. Like, there's just no place for it. It has since died down. There has since been a lot, like, I feel like there was a while where the community felt peaceful again, but I feel like the toxicity and the competition and the animosity, like it seems like it's coming back, and I don't know what that's about. Moral of the story is, please do not assume that you know anything about anyone, because there's only so many freaking animals to make crochet patterns out of, okay? Just because one person made the same animal as another person, like there were like 3 owl patterns that came out when I was releasing my owl pattern. But I'm not going to go around stomping my feet and throwing a tantrum because I have some competition now for those sales. Like, I really don't, that's not how business works. But yeah, like, everybody's desperate for tea, but it's like, it's really not that deep. Like, you're just trying to make something out of nothing. We are friends. Everything is fine. And if you came here looking for some tea because of this, sorry to disappoint. You are my inspiration. It makes me push myself to do more and be better. Thank you so much. It's so weird to see people say that like I'm their inspiration, because like I feel like most days I'm like barely holding it together. What's your favorite popcorn? My favorite popcorn is Wild Colonel Co's movie butter popcorn. I buy it by like the case every couple weeks. I'm pretty sure she's the one that asked me this question. Will you be releasing an SVG for your new deer pattern? If you don't know what an SVG is, it is basically a cut file for Cricut or other cutting machines to make felt eyes. I will not be releasing that SVG because it is not my design. It is Molly's Creative Studios design. She made the eyes. I don't have a reindeer. Oh, these. I don't have this. This is not my design. This is her design. So you can only get them from her. What is your favorite crochet pattern someone else made? I did get this question a lot. I really should have put some thought into it before I hit record. Honestly, to this day, my favorite patterns to make are the Annabelle's patterns, Crochet Grove, where they're like standing on all fours, like the Highland cow, the horse, the hippo, like all the ones that like are standing on 4 legs. I love those patterns. There's not a lot of sewing, and they just like, they work up so fast, and they're just so cute. What's your favorite pattern you made? My favorite pattern that I've made is my baby green alien pattern. I love it because it has made me a lot of money. If you are asking me from a creative concept what my favorite pattern is, like the one I had the most fun designing, maybe, I think I had the most fun designing the turtle pattern, the Nike turtle pattern. That was a lot of fun. But something that's really near and dear to my heart is always going to be my Hilda the Hippo pattern, because that's the first, like the big Hilda the Hippo pattern, because that's the first pattern where I feel like I kind of, like Penelope the Pig was my first pattern I ever made, but Hilda the Hippo was like the first one I was confident in, I think. There's a couple duplicate questions in here about that, so I'll just kind of skip over them. Would you rather get unlimited yarn for a year, or would you rather get 1 ball of yarn a day for 10 years? I think I'd do the unlimited all at once. I think so. That's a hard question. I think I'd do the unlimited, but I would also have to have the room to put it all. Who's your favorite crochet creator? Again, Annabelle. I look up to her a lot. She's a good friend, but she's also done so much with her business in like such a short amount of time, and she's so young. Like, I think she's only a few years younger than me, but still, like the way that her brain works with patterns, I admire. How is your dog? My dog is good. If you do not know about my dog, she has idiopathic epilepsy, which just means that she has seizures and the doctors don't really know why. There was a huge like scare with her when we first moved into the house. In my last video, I'll pin it in the description, my last video, I talked about more in depth what happened to her, but she's doing really good. She's on a stable medication. She hasn't had seizures in months. I didn't mean to knock. I knocked on wood, but she thought somebody was at the door. It's okay. Hey, I just wanted to say I love your patterns. Thank you. Thank you very much. How do you get the most sales at a craft show? Did my first one and it was a flop. I'm very sorry about that. I would say my biggest tip is to bring a variety of different sized items, a lot of small things. If you're starting from scratch, do like 50% small items, and then, you know, split up the medium and large amongst that 50% that's left over. I do think that having small items is the key to doing well at a market. Also having like nice color coordinated things, so like, you know, have multiple of one thing in different colors so people have a choice. I think that looks really pretty and just like appealing to the eye. I think things that are very appealing to the eye bring people in as well. It is good to have like a showstopper piece where you it's like a larger piece. Like for one, I did a giant Snorlax and that brought in so many people into my booth. Even though they couldn't afford it, they still stayed and looked at all my other things because they were like, wow, that's so cool. What else is here that I could afford? Can you do a tutorial on how you make felt eyes? I know this was not what you asked, but I would love to see your technique and your methods. So for felt eyes, you need a Cricut felt. I prefer thinner felt, thinner and stiffer felt, heat and bond, heat transfer vinyl. I really hope that there are videos. I want to say that there's videos on YouTube that can help you, but I don't know. It's a very niche thing. I do not have time in this video to do a full tutorial. I apologize. Hi, when will you have finished plushies available? I've been saying that I'm going to do a finished plushie drop for a while now, and I just haven't had the time to put them on my website. It takes a long time to make listings for all your stuffies, like a long time. And also, if they don't sell, then it's kind of just like, okay, well, I just made that listing for nothing. I haven't had the best luck with physical item sales in the past on my website because my content really caters to other crocheters. Whereas like people that do really well when they sell online cater to the customer that is looking to buy plushies. Like their content is very like, look at how much, like, look at this cute thing I made. Whereas mine is like, look at how long it took me to make this. This is the pattern to make this. You know what I mean? So I hope soon. Also, the strike with Canada Post is ridiculous. Shout me out. What made you want to get into crocheting? So I started crocheting when I was pretty young. I want to say like around 10 years old. And like I just was taught by a family friend. And I just started doing like scarves and flat projects, single crochet, chain one, go the other way, chain one, go the other way. I remember for the longest time I used to think that you had to start a blanket with a single crochet row and then go up to a double crochet and then double crochet. Like I thought that was the only way you could do it. I started picking up the hook again when COVID hit, and I think that's an answer you'll find a lot with people that started small businesses is because of COVID. I also have anxiety, so when I needed something to do to keep my mind occupied during that scary time, I chose crochet and it kind of just took off from there. Do you want kids in the future? Yes. Erin wants like 2. I would be okay with 1 currently, mainly because I'm terrified of childbirth. We will see how that goes. I also really like the idea of just like having 1 and then like spoiling them, just being able to give everything we have to like 1 kid. But also I know that I'll probably have baby fever and want to. How's wedding prep going? Also, when is the wedding again and what are the colors? Oh, wedding's good. Our date is September 6th. We are planning on doing it in my parents' backyard. Everything is going well. I think we have the tent, dance floor, tables and chairs and everything, photographer, videographer, washroom trailers, colors picked out. I have my dress, lots of stuff happening on the wedding front. I feel like right now I'm in like a bit of a lull with the wedding planning, but then as soon as the new year hits, I'm gonna be like, oh my god, I only have like 8 months to get this all planned. And these are my colors as of right now. They may change. How many plushies do you currently have made? Not a clue. If I had to guess, somewhere around like maybe 40, maybe 50 actually, including all the owls and reindeer I made. What's your favorite yarn to use? Okay, so practically my favorite yarn to use is Parfait Chunky because of all of the color options, but I do really, really love the Chanel Basics from Premier. I wish that they had the same color option as Parfait Chunky because I would probably use that like all the time. Do you ever feel like you come off conceited and condescending? Well, duh, that's the point. No, never. What made you want to get into kinesiology? Was it a passion? And what made you go full-time with Crochet with Bae? I've always really been good at like biology and health studies, and like the human body really fascinates me. I really like the idea that like you can memorize all of the bones and the muscles and like that's your job. I was going to Brock University my first year in Ontario, and I was in, I think, social studies. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I just wanted to get away from home. And then my friend Meredith was in kinesiology class, and I sat in on it, and I just thought it was amazing, and I fell in love with it, and I'm like, that's what I want to do. I think I was planning on doing occupational therapy, which is like, you know, if people get in an accident or if they have a disability and they need to learn how to use their body again, that's kind of what occupational therapy does. After I finished my Bachelor of Arts in Kinesiology, I started working at a clinic, chiropractic clinic, and as just the receptionist, and I just wasn't like loving the atmosphere. I didn't really have a drive to go back to school because it was like COVID, and I'm like, I really don't want to do this. Like the world was just so heavy at that point. I was just like, I just want to do something fun. So crochet. I started by making custom orders for family and friends, and then I did a market. And then after that, I kind of came into the community and was just like learning from all these amazing creators. I designed my own pattern, and then it kind of just took off from there. I didn't have a very large financial responsibility. I think at the time I only had my phone bill. I was still living at home, so I didn't have to pay rent, car insurance, and then my student loans. So I was like, you know what, if I'm going to do this, it's going to be now or never. And I was really lucky that my wonderful fiance, then boyfriend, and my parents were supportive of me doing this full time. I started in 2020, and I went full time in 2022. So 2 years of grinding it out, and then I'm like, you know what, I want to do this. And I remember my paychecks were, I was in no way at all making big paychecks. I literally was like, I'm going to give this my all, and then the money's going to come after. I feel like if you wait for the money to come, it's smart. If you have a lot of financial responsibility, it's smart to wait for the money to come in first and then go out on your own. But I also feel like it's kind of necessary to take the leap. Hopefully the money will follow. Why do you only share what you make at a market when you do really well? You mentioned markets that we never hear about after. Are those the ones that were a flop? I don't think that's fair to say. I think that I try my best to share for every market. I don't do a market breakdown for every market because markets take a lot out of me. Like, I am exhausted by the end of the day. Like, if it's a cold day or if it's a really hot day, or if like setup and tear down is a lot of work, especially when you have like $4,000 in inventory. Like, when I do a market, I go full out. It's an exhausting day. And usually I want to turn my brain off for like a solid week after a market. And when I get back into work, sometimes I'm like, you know what, I should share about that market and, you know, talk about it. And other times I'm like, I don't even want to talk about it. Like, would you want to talk about your failures on the internet? Like, no. And I know that I always preach transparency, and I feel like I am pretty transparent. I will answer pretty much anything you guys ask, but I don't think it's fair to say that I didn't share something because it was a flop. I don't think that's accurate. But yeah, I'm just not doing as many markets anymore either. So maybe that's what they're talking about. Can you do more studio vlogs, more behind the scenes stuff? I mean, I feel like all of my vlogs are behind the scenes stuff because I feel like I don't want to be boring. I think that's what like I worry about in releasing videos and vlogs and stuff, is like I just don't want to be boring. Like, I put on some vlogs and they're just like background noise for me, but like I want people to like actually want to watch what I put out and the content that I put out. So this comes kind of full circle to like me being hard on myself. If I feel like the content or the film or the footage that I've collected isn't like interesting, I don't make a video. I don't post the video. So that is why my videos are a bit fewer and far in between. Like, I'm always filming, but I don't always, like, all the footage doesn't always make the cut. When's your next plushie drop? I want an owl. I'm sorry, I'm working on it. What is the next pattern you will be releasing? I am not at liberty to say. I have an idea, but I don't know if I'm going to have the time to do it because it is already November 27th. And it's a Christmas pattern. So I'm hoping that it's going to work out. I do have a modification of a pattern coming out though. That'll be out hopefully within the week. How did you and your husband meet and your first date story? Me and Aaron, we're engaged. We're not married yet. We met on Hinge. Hinge is a dating site if you don't know what it is. It's an app kind of like, you know, Tinder, Bumble. I was on all of them. Plenty of Fish. Like, I was on all of the dating sites when I was younger. I was 22. He was 25. He said he was gonna watch The Bachelor with me, and the rest is history. No, it was honestly really weird because like I have never had a good like solid relationship before him. Like, my longest relationship was 8 months. I feel like I was never really seen before Aaron. Like, nobody really valued or saw me and what I had to offer in a relationship. First date was actually at a Starbucks, and we talked for 4 hours at a Starbucks during COVID. It was crazy. And at the end of the date, I believe he asked if he could kiss me, which was really sweet, but not in like a nerdy way. And yeah, the rest is history. Our first 3 dates were like, I think every other day we had a date. Like our anniversary is the day of our first date because we were inseparable after that. Like we knew it was it. But yeah, he's my guy and I love him. He's a good boy. Top 5 favorite Christmas patterns, not any of your own. I don't really know a lot of Christmas patterns. I did test a cute little Christmas tree pattern from Absy's Crochet. I don't know her full username. Her name's Abigail. I really haven't made many Christmas patterns. Okay, I didn't realize this video was going to be so dang long. I'm going to have to break it up into 2 parts because there was, as we said in the beginning, like 100 questions. I hope that you liked this first part. I'm going to continue editing the second part now, but I thought I'd get the first one out to you guys so you guys can watch. If you like this, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on the notifications so you never miss another video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!